Hello and welcome to this lecture. Now we are going to take a look at different ways to improve the model output. And here, this is already a foresight on different sections that we are going to cover at some later point. But first things first. If you use a model and you are not satisfied with the output, because you did not put enough effort into your user query in the first place. So that would be the simplest part, called direct prompting. And we will see in this lecture how you could improve the output. So the first thing would be that you want to improve it by modifying at the beginning of this chain. So the chain is that you have the user query, it's passed to the LLM, and the LLM is providing some output. So one thing would be that the problem is at the beginning of the chain. If the beginning of the chain is that you were quite sloppy in providing the query and it was maybe not specific enough, there are many different ways to improve your query. All of this is running under the umbrella called prompt engineering. So you can put a lot of effort into tuning your prompt, and that would be all trying to change the chain at the beginning. But this might not change or might not solve the problem if the model doesn't have the answer. So if in the model weights the answer is not included, then you cannot solve it with prompt engineering. And here the technique called retrieval augmented generation is coming into play. This is working in the following way, and we will spend a lot of time on this. But here, just quickly on a very high level, we are starting out again with the user query, and then the user query is passed in two different ways to the model. One way is the direct passing to the large language model. The other one is that you make a bypass, and the user query is passed to some external source. From the external source, which could be a vector database or an internet search, you get back certain results which are very relevant for answering the question. Then the model is provided with this output as well. And with this contextual information, the model is now capable of answering the question and providing a good output. So this is the core idea of retrieval augmented generation. And in the majority of cases, this is the way to go. But in specific cases, it might be that fine-tuning the model is a better approach. In that case, it would be two stages. The first stage would be this horizontal path. So you would start out with your external data source. It is passed to the large language model, and some so-called fine-tuned large language model is created. So you can see here now that this information from the external source is now going to end up as parametric weights of the model. And now, once the model has been trained, the query is running as usual. So the user is passing in the question in its query. Then this is passed to the fine-tuned large language model, and the model itself is then providing the output. So this would be the idea of fine-tuning some large language model. And the difficulty is from left to right. So the most simple one is, of course, direct prompting, putting not much effort into it, but you are not satisfied with the result. Then prompt engineering is the next more difficult approach. RAG systems are still a bit more difficult, but again, with the difficulty, the performance is increasing, and fine-tuning is probably the most complicated part of it. And as I said, usually not necessary. So we are going to work mostly with RAG systems in this scope. All right, that's it. These are on a very high level the different ways how you can improve your large language model output. And in the next lecture, we're going to take a look at different model providers. Thanks a lot and see you there.